Yankee bats finally wake up today as they spoil the Baltimore Orioles home opener with an 8-4 victory. Over the first two series, the Yankee bats have struggled heavily against supposed bad teams such as the Baltimore Orioles and the Detroit Tigers. Pair that with a number of key players on the injured list, and we can all agree that Yankee baseball has been pretty frustrating to watch, especially with hitting with runners in scoring position. Now, the injured list has grown to 11 players with the addition of Troy Tulowitzki with a calf strain. That's 11 pretty much everyday players now missing significant time because of some sort of injury. Thankfully, this is at the beginning of the season and not in August or September when they're in the middle of a pennant race. But still, you hate to see it, and you want them to win when they can with a full, healthy team because all these games at the end of the season do add up and they do count. In their first 6 games, Yankee batters have struck out 65 times. That means that's about 10 times a game. That's insane. And you can include an 18 strikeout performance against the Detroit Tigers yesterday, where they just looked pathetic. They were swinging at everything, not working the count like they usually do, not swinging at good pitches in good situations. They get runners on and they're not bringing them home. So 2-1, 3-1, it's hard to watch, especially when this Yankee offense is supposed to be so explosive. They're clearly trying to overcompensate because of all the injuries and the struggles, and they're expanding the zone. And they're not getting the help from umpires too. There were a couple bad calls today, but it's not good for the team. It's not putting them in a situation where they can win ball games if they're swinging the bat at terrible pitches. Now every team goes through it. It's part of baseball, and you hope that this change of scenery. Leaving Yankee Stadium because the first six games were at home. They're now opening a series against the Baltimore Orioles in Camden Yards. You hope that this changes scenery and being on the road and they start to bond and they can start getting on the right foot, becoming the team that we know. Now we know all these guys are injured and there's some faces that are on the team right now that we might not see in a couple months, but they're important too. Tyler Wade, Clint Frazier, Mike Tauchman, all these guys, they need to still perform even though they're not going to be Giancarlo Stanton or George Tulowitzki or Didi Gregorius. These are all role players right now, and they're just as important. So they started to show some signs of life today as Gleyber Torres picked up 4 hits. He went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. The second home run was a big one as it gave the Yankees a 5-4 lead at the time and the lead for good. This could be a guy that the Yankees could, when all these guys are injured, build a winning lineup around. There were Yankees also, they hit 4 home runs today, 2 from Torres. Sanchez hit his third, and Luke Voit hit a home run in the top of the 9th. It's a 3-run homer, and you hope that this home run for Luke Voit sends him in the right direction, because since his first home run and his first at bat in the first inning of the first game of the year, he has looked downright atrocious. It's got me questioning whether or not he belongs in the 3-hole. Now I'm not Team Voit or Team Bird. I like Greg Bird. He's a good player in my mind. I just don't think he's been healthy enough to perform in the way that he's capable of. And I also like Luke Voit. He's a good hitter, and he's shown that he can perform at this level. However, he hasn't done it lately. No one's done it lately. So really, if everybody was healthy and this was the situation, I would move him down the lineup, but no one is, and no one else is hitting. So you really can't take him out of that 3-hole. I mean, what do you think? Is there someone else that you could put in the number 3 hole? Maybe Gleyber Torres. Maybe he's getting hot at the right time. But other than that, who knows? And speaking of all-around hitters, because the number 3 hitter is typically your best all-around hitter, Aaron Judge should be in that role. I don't think he belongs in the number 2 hole, but he's there. And he's been struggling lately. He's been striking out half the time. He's swinging at pitches out of the zone. He's not having the quality at bats that we know Aaron Judge can have. And I wonder if his new anti-stride, toe tap batting stance is contributing to this. He seems like he's late on everything. He's not catching up to fastballs, and it's forcing him to swing at pitches that he wouldn't normally swing at. Does he abandon it? Do you think he should? I think he needs to do something because he doesn't look like the same Aaron Judge in the batter's box. Now, some of these strikeouts have been terrible calls. He and Bird have been on the wrong side of bad calls by the home plate umpire. In today's game, there's a pitch that was about 6 inches below Judge's front knee, and it was called a strike. Now, Aaron Boone barked at home plate umpire, but nothing happened. And I was actually kind of hoping he would get ejected today because maybe that would light a fire under the offense. And even him barking at the home plate umpire seemed to have done something because after that, the Yankees started coming back. They started hitting. They started shortening up their swing and not trying to do too much. And it's a shame that you would want your manager to be thrown out of the game, but sometimes that lights a fire under guys. I've seen it happen, and I think it's sometimes a strategy, and you don't want it to happen, but maybe this could be something that could light a fire and get the Yankees going in the right direction. But umpires, come on. If you're trying to keep MLB from switching to robot umpires, you're really not doing a good job. You're not making any sort of case for yourselves. I think the umpiring over the past decade has gradually gotten worse every season. So this is not a step in the right direction, and I really think that Major League Baseball would benefit from some sort of robot home plate umpire. I know it takes the human element out of the game, but strike's a strike and a ball's a ball, and you got to get it right. If you're going to get everything else right with a replay, then you got to do it with a strike zone too. We're at a point with technology where you can't get around it. But outside of Hap, the starting pitching has been fantastic. Paxton struggled a little bit in the first inning today, but it's kept the Yankees in the game because if the offense isn't performing, they're at least keeping them within one swing of taking the lead or tying the game. Now, Paxton struggled, like I said today. He in the first inning he gave up 3 runs, and he was sticking with that slider approach that the Yankees have been pressing so much over the past 2 years. You heard a lot about it when Sonny Gray was traded to the Reds. And my question is, if your starting pitcher is not locating with the slider, why do you keep calling for it? Why do you have your catcher keep having him throw that? He threw, I can't tell you how many sliders I saw him throw in the dirt today. And it's just, you're upping his pitch count. He had 30-something pitches in the first inning. And you're shortening his game. You want your pitcher to give you depth. So if he's not throwing strikes with a slider, you have to have a plan B. Get him to throw a changeup or a cutter or something that can help him work that slider back into his pitching. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, Larry Rothschild, maybe you'll someday answer this question for me, or maybe you, the viewer out there, can answer that question for me, because I just don't understand it. So tell me what you think. Tell me, do you think Voit belongs in the 3-hole? Do you think Judge should abandon his toe tap? Do you think the Yankees should have a plan B to their slider approach? I want to know what you think. So comment below, join in the conversation. We're trying to do more of these quick hit type short videos to get you, the viewer, more involved. So tell me what you think. Find me on Twitter at GregAndriano05 and tune in as there will be more episodes of Yankee Chatter coming your way soon.